Hi, welcome to the Second Shift Review. We're back again, coming back at you.
Talking about
one more
spoilers.
time. Talking about them spoilers. Bam, bam. Hi guys.
Let me go over there! Get him!
So, insert here. Okay. So, story opens up with Ripley. She's on her ship.
Yep.
Everything's covered in dust and water vapor.
Yes.
And she's in sleep. And
it's taking place like immediately.
yeah, she's just floating through
After
space.
the first alien.
You think that at
You
first,
think that.
She's been in.
but then the ship comes, picks her up, cuts her open. They're like, "Oh, she's still alive! Damn it, we can't scrap all this shit." And then she wakes up in the hospital, and she discovers it's been 57 years
Yeah,
instead
and
of
her-
like the year she thought it was going to take.
Yeah.
And her daughter's all like super old now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
Actually, her daughter's.
interesting. The actress that played her daughter was actually Sigourney Weaver's mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is interesting. I didn't.
Switcheroo.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird.
Yeah, then she just like gets there with the cat Jonesy. And it's just like, see you later.
Did you see his face when he's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave and
She's
leave
like,
you over there."
I'm
and
leaving
then
here,
the
you
cat's
little
like,
shithead.
Yeah, she leaves him, and he was like, "No, I won't have control of the alien."
Yeah.
I think this whole beginning part, really illustrates the PTSD aspect of everything she went through the first one, which I think is really good. A lot of people have compared this movie to a post-Vietnam soldier having PTSD
Okay.
and then not being able to cope with home life and
Enlisting.
re-enlisting
said
and
that-
going back to war.
They said James Cameron got his inspiration from the Vietnam War in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
For this movie.
They said the armor and how they painted them up. They let the actors paint them up however they wanted, put whatever they want on them.
That's cool.
That was directly inspired by Vietnam. Another interesting Vietnam fact is the movie Full Metal Jacket was being filmed literally across the street from them, and that takes place during the Vietnam War. And the actors would go to parties and stuff together
That's
in both
cool.
movies. So it's even more of a
I haven't
connection.
seen Full Metal Jacket, but
So we're going to move on from here, and Roderick's going to leave. So at this point, we're introduced to the Paul Reiser character, and at first, I felt like I didn't know really where he was coming from, whether he was a good
Yeah.
guy or whether he was a bad guy.
I
This
thought
guy is
Bert
just a little
was
much.
Yeah,
like
Bert.
that from the beginning. I was like,
Don't trust him.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed like that from the beginning, and then in this one, the android that they had seemed like the trustworthy one. I thought.
So the android character, he tries really hard to come off as a creepy character, and you think they might do another situation with him being evil like they did in the first one with Ash. Which
and right off the bat, Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, Sigourney Weaver's character really doesn't trust him.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
She's like, I've already been through this.
Yeah,
I'm not going through it again.
Yeah, she didn't want to go there in the first place
No.
in the
Yes.
whole thing, and then finally that guy Bert goes and convinces her.
He's like,
And,
you get a promotion, you get some money, because right now no one's going to touch you with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, because they tried to like demote her and make
Yeah.
her to where she
Yeah.
had her license suspended or her
She
rank
could lose her
suspended.
license.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
And
no.
her to quit.
No, no.
But the exomoon that they were on before, it's now being colonized
Yeah.
by Harley's Hope, and they've colonized it. So that's how.
Which at this point they still haven't found any of the xenomorphs or anything.
Yeah. There's no, like,
There's been no
trace
contact
of
or
them.
nothing. So then no one believes her. They convince her to go along. So she gets outfitted with a whole bunch of space marines, which
Yeah.
are fucking awesome. And you get introduced to their whole ship and guns and their macho-ness.
Yeah.
And
especially Vasquez, she was like the most macho person in the whole thing.
Which is confusing because she's like a red-headed Irish actress who's playing a Mexican American character.
Yeah. She does good.
Yeah, she does a good job.
Yeah.
One thing interesting about the android character is the actor that portrayed him said that if this role doesn't pan out well, he's completely quitting acting.
Oh.
And this was like I think he's quit acting or dead now, but that was like one of his pivotal roles. So it paid off real well.
Yeah.
If you watch the special edition at this point, it shows flashes to the planet, and it shows a family going to investigate this unknown zone, which the company told them to go investigate this zone. Right immediately after they had the investigation from her, so they knew what to be looking for. So
that's so lame.
you kind of know that they're setting everyone up for this.
Yeah.
So they go. The dad gets infected with facehugger. It's Newt's parents. Everything gets set off from then. They need Ripley to come and save them because she's an expert on them. So she goes, and you get to know the crew, and they kind of cut up a little bit. You meet Bill Paxton's character, Hudson, and the android does the knife.
Yeah. The knife game.
The funny thing about that is everyone there knew that they were going to grab his hand and force it down and do that.
Yeah.
Except for Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton was not in on that.
Dang.
And so he was like, yeah, do it. And then he gets behind him and forces his hand down. And he's like, he's like General Terror. Like, that was real terror when they were doing that. And the sucky thing was, James Cameron didn't like the first take, so he had to do it again.
Dang.
I thought that was interesting. After that, they blast down to the planet, which he talks about this. This is only we'll be in the planet in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
If you can't start the timer from the minute the ship drops, from the big ship, to the minute the first officer's boot touches the ground, it's been 10 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. The last time I timed something with the Alien franchise, it was way off. Like the self-destruct from the first Alien.
Oh, yeah.
I timed that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That didn't pan out.
it took
I did that too, and it didn't pan out at all. So they move in. They can't find anyone alive. Everything's melted.
Yeah.
They find out that a lot of everyone on board this facility has tracking devices, which is kind of counterproductive. Later, Ripley gives Newt a tracking watch.
Yeah.
But she should have already had a tracking deal in her. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand
But anyway.
some of the logic in this movie.
They move to right underneath the reactor, and they discover most of the crew are dead and have been, like, mounted to the wall.
Yeah.
And facehuggers have already implanted them, and a lot of them are already dead, with their chests already bursted.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh no, there's a bunch of these things running around. And
then it just kind of builds
It
to
shows
where
that
you
one
finally
girl,
see them.
yeah, Ripley mentions that they shouldn't shoot any ammunition at this point because they're right under a reactor, and if they shoot, they'll just set it off like a giant atomic bomb. Which they have to dump all their ammo, and they take off, and about half the people have backup
like
ammunition
sidearms.
and like random different weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they end up finding 2 facehuggers that are alive. And I was thinking, like, why didn't they kill those face? They looked through the reports on them and everything. But I was thinking, why didn't they kill them right there? But I guess since they were contained in those jars, they thought maybe they would go ahead and keep
They're
them.
being studied.
Yeah.
It mentions that one of them had to kill the host they had to cut his head off to remove the facehugger alive.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's how they got one of them to study it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They said surgery. I didn't know they just cut.
Well,
his
they
head off.
removed his head to
Yeah.
get to the, and he died. They get all the way down in there, and then they realize that they're surrounded by xenomorphs, and this is not like there are enough xenomorphs down there to take everyone out
Yeah.
just by itself.
Yeah.
But they managed to have one xenomorph come down, grab one guy, and that one guy kills half of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he has a flamethrower.
He has a flamethrower, and he grabs him, and he just launches the flamethrower at the guy carrying all the ammunition.
Those
Yeah.
xenomorphs are pretty sneaky for such big characters.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's their like main way of killing. Sneak up on you and then boom, dead.
Yeah.
They match into the environment really well, which is that's part of their camo and stuff. They've changed the environment to match them.
Mm-hmm.
But
The original captain then too is having a real tough time with everything, and then Sigourney Weaver has to like take over.
yeah,
Yeah.
he just loses it halfway and does not know what to do, and he's just like, I don't know, run away. Why are nobody listening to me?
Retreat.
So all the ammunition blows up, causes like a damage to the reactor, which blows up later when they find out there's damage to it.
Yeah.
Only like 4 of the
Yeah.
7 or 8 of them that were
Well,
down
and
there.
they I guess she went and ran that deal too.
Yeah, she took that big tank
Mhm.
and just drove it straight through the wall to get him out, which is pretty handy.
Mm-hmm.
At the very last minutes, the Hicks character uses a shotgun to blast one of the xenomorphs, and acid gets on the Hicks character,
Yeah.
Oliver's arm, and
Acid burns.
then
again.
they reverse out of there, and then the corporal guy gets boxes just collapse on him because he's an idiot.
Yeah. That part I was just like, okay.
He's dead, alive.
He's knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They found the new character, which was cool. She's a really good actress. Like just her, I don't care. Everyone's dead.
I wonder if that's just how she is in like.
They said they
normal
went through
life.
they had 2,000 actresses to try and play this character, and every one of them came in and was just like super happy and stuff all the time, and they were like, "This is not what we're looking for," and she just came in and was just like, "Yes."
Yeah, she did make whenever they were asked
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
parents, she's like, "Yeah, they're dead. Can I go now?"
Yeah, can I go?
Yeah.
You're gonna die too.
It's like, just get out of here.
They managed to get back outside, and they call for the aerial pickup. And why would you land a plane on a planet with creatures that sneak up on people
Yeah.
and just leave the back door open?
Yeah.
Yeah, that drop ship.
They're smart.
She's just like, do. Hey, what?
Yeah.
Stupid. And then it just like,
Crashes.
which was pretty epic.
Yeah.
Then the Hudson character just loses it and becomes the whiner. The whole rest of the movie, he's just whining the whole time.
Yeah.
Game over, man. Game over. We're done. Which was completely ad-libbed by
Oh.
him. Like, none of that was in the script.
Nice.
He just, whined the rest of the time.
Yeah.
They go back to the main facility and try and hunker down and try and figure out what to do. They come up with a plan to either wait, 14 days or something?
Something like that.
Till
yeah.
backup notices that they're not coming
Yeah,
back.
it's like, oh, we just have to stay here for
Wait it
a
out
while.
with millions of xenomorphs trying to
Yeah.
kill us. And they decide that the android character might be able to automatically tap into the ship, which really bugs me that they did not have anyone stay on the ship
Yeah.
in orbit.
Yeah.
That's the
That-
biggest flaw of this movie is why?
Just keep one person.
Just in the ship.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like one of
They
the
can have
pilot,
a good
like
old
the other
time.
pilot that was there that
Yeah.
just got killed instantly and had no relevance in this movie.
Mhm.
Just leave her up there. Go mop some floors.
Last time they left like what 2 people
Yeah,
on the ship in the movie.
yeah, the robot and Ripley.
Yeah. Now
Um,
it's just meh.
everyone should go.
Yeah.
Which the android character mentions that he should be able to do it, but he has to go outside and go up to the antenna relay and do it manually, and he's the only one qualified to do it, which everyone kind of like, okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
It takes him like the whole movie to
Yeah.
basically get the ship down there,
Mhm.
and Ripley mentions they should just nuke the site from orbit.
Wow.
He's like, this is
Solution for everything.
He's like, this is an expensive facility, and she's like, bill me.
Yeah.
At this point, they have like 4 hours to. They figure out that the reactor's going to blow up, and they have like 4 hours, so they can't wait for backup.
Yeah.
They have to get on the ship. They manage to get to the ship.
Bert goes and locks Ripley and Newt
Mhm.
in a container area while they're sleeping.
It's the med bay, I think.
Yeah. And he opens up the deal for these 2 facehuggers to get them.
Mhm.
And they manage to fight off the facehuggers until Corporal Hicks can bust through the glass, and then everybody
She-
comes in there and
She
starts.
figures out that she has to light a cigarette lighter to set off the sprinklers, which causes an alarm for them to come down there because Burke has switched off the security camera.
Yeah. So then, once they get out and then they kill the facehuggers, and then soon after that they go and they corner Burke and they're talking about maybe executing him because everybody knows
Yeah.
what he did.
Mhm.
He's trying to like
He's like,
say that they're
"Y'all
being
are
crazy, or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, after that he goes and the lights come out and then they're looking for the xenomorphs on this tracker and they're like, man, they're coming in somewhere. So anyways, they notice that they're coming from the ceiling, and one of the xenomorphs drop down. Bert goes and locks Ripley in there as she's trying to leave, and he inadvertently locks himself in there with the xenomorph,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they
And
get
then
killed. And it's like
gets him.
really obvious
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
something's going to happen to him. But anyways, so then they start to escape,
Mhm.
and Vasquez is caught in. They're escaping down this air duct type deal,
Yep.
and Vasquez gets caught by a
Yeah,
xenomorph.
busts through
Mhm.
the bottom.
Yeah, it busts through the
Grabbed
bottom
her.
and gets her. And then while it's getting her, she like takes her foot and pushes its head
Mhm.
up against this deal and then just shoots it.
And then
Yeah.
acid.
Which was the craziest thing in there, like that she was strong enough. And
Yeah.
But
What,
then,
girls can't be strong, Gary?
yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, anybody
I was-
strong enough to do that. I mean, because they have to fight it off with like huge machines and stuff,
Yeah.
so that she could do that. But anyway, so she goes and does that, and then they end up blowing themselves up and take a couple of the aliens with them.
Grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The corporal comes back and saves her, and he gets stuck too because another one comes up, and so
They,
they're
like,
just like,
Start like
yeah,
cutting
surrounding
them
him.
off. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
Grenade.
But then she finally, she at the end of it, she has Newt and everything, and then she goes and she's in the pod with or in the room with all the eggs and the queen, and she tries to kind of motion to her and show her that flamethrower and let her know that
Yeah,
she has
she's like-
something that can take out all those babies.
yeah, like she would have been fine. Just all right, you don't kill me, I don't kill you or your eggs.
We're
just
even.
leave.
Yeah.
Just leave. But then,
One of
like
the
as
eggs.
she's
That's
leaving,
what I was wondering
is
about.
this flamethrower.
Like
Yeah.
whenever that egg opens up,
Yeah.
did the queen control that,
I don't.
or
I
did
think
it
it
just
did.
inadvertently happen?
I think the queen told the other aliens to back off
Mhm.
because this is the egg room. They take us all out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they were leaving, they're like, I think they've gone far enough. I can just release a facehugger to quietly go behind them and
Mhm.
get them. There'll be another host. So I think the queen tried to play her hand too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
And
it's flame.
the
Yeah.
the queen ends up like they flamethrow everything, and then
Yeah.
the queen ends up escaping, and then they're trying to get out, and the android character picks them up. He circles back
Yeah.
around and picks them
Yeah.
up.
Well, when they get up the elevator, the ride's not there. Like the
Yeah,
android
they're
dude
like,
is
oh no,
they're like, he left us.
he
Yeah.
betrayed us.
But the Queen goes and sneaks on inside the landing gear,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then later on
They
she
get
comes
back
out.
out there, at the ship.
hmm
The android's
Yeah.
trying to talk to him, and then she like goes
Yeah.
and stabs her tail through him.
And he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Then he starts bleeding milk.
Yeah, you remember his reaction to getting stabbed?
He's just like, what?
No, he was like, ah.
Yeah, he was like, ah.
Yeah, and
And he
I remember
lifts it
him.
up and just,
Yeah, I remember him like yelling and stuff. And
yeah.
I mean, he's
I was thinking,
he's a robot. So
yeah, I
And
was
then he's
thinking
like
he
laying over
acted
there.
like
and
he
he's
wasn't like.
well, he's got milk all over him. He's like,
yeah.
Yeah, he acted like he could feel it. and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I
And,
mean, he might.
Maybe.
He
just
can
it
sense
was
danger and like
Damage.
done to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so then the Queen Xenomorph is trying to get Newt, and Newt's under these little panels and trying to move and avoid her. And then Ripley comes out in the landing gear or the
Power
the
loader.
power loader,
Yeah.
which she said she was pretty good at the beginning of it. She's like, I got a 2 plus rating.
That's her job. That was her job before they took her.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
she was power loading.
It was like a Pacific Rim fighter
Kinda,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
I wonder
power
if they
loader.
might have got that from that. But
No.
And she's like, get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah.
yeah. So then she ends up she grabs the Xenomorph's head with power loader claw, and she ends up hitting the deal for the
Airlock.
The
airlock. Yeah, and
Which-
then the thing that like
Why would you have an airlock on the floor?
Yeah, I don't know.
That is dumb.
yeah.
I don't.
But the airlock starts to suck that she gets out of the suit
Mhm.
because
Yeah, it's like
starting to get-
sucking everything in.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Which, how does she have air?
Well, there's enough air being sucked.
I feel like it would just suck all the air. Like being as close as she was
that's a good point.
to the opening, I feel like it was just.
Yeah, I feel like as
I
long as
didn't
you don't
think
get on the
about that,
the other side of the opening, there's enough air being sucked through that you're okay.
But-
it would just be a lot of air. It'd be like a lot of wind.
That
We're also talking about a movie that has
Yes, a movie,
xenomorphs
yeah.
in it.
yeah.
Another thing is when she gets out and she climbs up the ladder, she manages to use her arm.
Yeah,
when,
that's
when
what-
gigantic
that's
crates
exactly
are being
what-
sucked
Yeah.
in.
Well,
and
and
it's just her arm.
And that that xenomorph,
Yeah.
it's not only that, they like the loader falls on the xenomorph and then she opens it up and everything. Well, that xenomorph is hanging onto her leg.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Watch it, and she's just got her arm right there, and that
Yeah,
xenomorph
Yeah,
has
she
to
should-
be over
Yeah,
like 2,000 pounds,
Yeah.
ripped in half.
because it looks huge. It looks bigger, of course, when it's
Yeah,
in like when you first see
Yeah.
it. I thought, of course, it was attached to the egg deal.
yeah,
Mhm.
exact and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
But
Then they kill it. The android closes up the airlock before they all get sucked
Yeah.
out. He's like, "I did it."
I'm alive.
Then they load him up, throw him in like a escape pod thing.
Sleep bay. Yeah,
Yeah. Even
along
though
with
he's
Hicks, who's
Yeah.
had acid burns to his face.
yeah, he's just
Been out forever,
Yeah.
which he thought he died, but
Mhm.
apparently not.
They load him up, then Newt, and then
And they go to sleep.
Ripley. Then they're just like, "All right,
We're going back to Earth.
We did it again."
and she kind of like
This
pretty much
time,
well
the mastermind
adopts
was a
Newt throughout
child.
that whole.
Yeah, yeah. They have to go after her and stuff.
This whole time, the child was pulling the strings instead of a cat.
Yeah.
Might be it. She did survive a long time on that.
Then in the next one, it's a dog
Yeah.
or an ox,
Ox,
depending on.
So let's give our final thoughts, Gary.
It's not that often that you see something actually better than the sequel or than the original, so that was pretty awesome. And I think everybody liked it pretty well because they said it took $18 million for them to make this, and it grossed $180 million, so 10
Gross.
times. What
And it's a classic everyone
Yeah.
loves. Like a lot of the props have been donated to the Smithsonian and everything.
Some props have even been donated to the Second Shift Review.
Yeah.
Throw up a clip.
I think it was classic. One of the best sequels. I agree with Gary.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best movies ever.
It's good.
Watch it. Let's give our ratings.
Gary.
I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 queens.
Queen Aliens.
Like Queen, the musical
just
artist.
Any kind of queen.
Just Queen.
Okay. Ethan.
I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 pulse rifles.
Y'all are giving it high ratings.
Heck yeah.
I'm giving it 7.8
Blasphemy.
out of 10 Game Over Mans.
7. That's ridiculous. Okay.
7.8.
If you like what you saw here, give us a subscribe,
Yep.
like, share,
Comment.
watch one of our other videos. We have
Watch-
quite a bit now.
Watch all our videos.
Watch
the Meat Mountain. That's a
Yeah, the Meat
good
Mountain.
little watch.
Check that out. Watch our review of Creature.
Yeah.
That makes fun of this movie.
Yeah.
Or makes fun of the first one, kind of. But we'll catch you next time.
Hey.